So one of the first things to notice about the game of Chessplus, a couple of extra queens on the side of the board for both colours. So you can have multiple queens on the board. So how does this work in effect? Well, let's have a look at a little opening. Now, white to go first. So of course, traditionally your rook is trapped in here, but with the Chessplus and the way they're nicely designed, I could move it forward onto the pawn, combine those two pieces. Now let's say for gameplay's sake that black is continuing in a more traditional way. Now with the next move, what we could do is bring the queen up onto the pawn. Okay, now let's say black continues on more traditionally, comes up to protect the pawn here from the queen which is attacking it. Now I could move my queen pawn forward there. So what I'm achieving now is 2 points of attack on this little pawn over here. Now let's see, say that black's continuing in a more traditional fashion. Now I can come down, take that pawn. Now I'm using both the pawn and the rook here, not just the rook. If I wanted to, I could have just used the rook, but I wanted to put a bit of pressure on the knight with that pawn, so the pawn can take the knight there. Now black's like, oh, you've just given me a rook and a pawn, very nice, thank you. Now, of course here, there was the pressure being placed by the queen, so I'm going to come down. Again, I'm taking both the pieces, the queen and the pawn, again because I want to put this pawn in a position where I can promote it. So the pawn and the queen both threatening the knight. Now there's not a lot that black could do here. Let's see, a couple of examples. Maybe the knight could come forward there, putting some pressure on the queen. Now I could just split that, move my pawn forward, and that then promotes. So there I've got the two queens. Now the outcome here is the knight would probably take the queen, I would take the knight, and at this point I'm a knight up, so I'm ahead. Now let's see what other scenarios could we run through here for black. So here we are, we've got the queen and the pawn. Now I could just move the bishop forward there, combining that, then I'm going to protect that square. My queen's going to protect the knight there. My options here, I could simply take the knight with the pawn. That's obviously promoted to a queen. Queen takes queen, and then my queen takes the black queen, and I'm obviously in a very good position here. So moving the bishop up there, an option, but maybe not necessarily the best option for black. Other options, have a think about it. If you've got some ideas, let me know. I think basically in this situation, when you've got the rook pawn and the queen pawn both attacking the pawn, and the black is being surprised, you're in a very good position to promote that pawn one way or another and become a piece up in the game. So that's a fun little opening start for those not so well prepared for the game of Chessplus.